Carol called me on a Tuesday afternoon. Her hen was down, hunched in the corner of the run, puffed up, tail dropped, not touching the water, not touching the feed. She'd already spent money, an $18 health tonic from the farm store, a probiotic additive she was mixing into the drinker. The vet clinic had quoted her $65 just to walk through the door. I drove over. 20 minutes with the bird, then I went inside Carol's kitchen, cracked 2 of her own eggs, scrambled them plain, no butter, no salt, nothing, and carried that pan back out to the sick pen. By the time I left, the hen had her head up and was eating. Next morning, Carol texted me a photo. Bird was out with the flock. She called it a miracle. I called it Tuesday. My granddad called it keeping chickens. I know what some of you are thinking. Instantly, forbidden. Sounds like every clickbait chicken video you've ever closed after 30 seconds. Fair enough. But a hen going down from a nutritional problem, not disease, can turn around fast enough that it looks like a miracle. That part is real. The forbidden part is mostly wrong, and I spent 32 years selling the alternatives across that feed counter, which is exactly why I can tell you what actually works and why nobody's been selling it to you. Most backyard flock keepers can't tell the difference between a hen crashing from a nutritional problem and one who's actually sick with something you can't fix at home. That line matters, because getting it wrong is what costs birds. I'll show you how to read a hen that's going down, then exactly what I did at Carol's, step by step, with the numbers you can write down. And stay to the end. There's one mistake most backyard keepers make every single fall that sets this whole thing up. Fixing it costs less than a bag of scratch. A hen that's going down looks a certain way. You know it when you see it. Puffed up feathers, hunched posture, tail dropped low, eyes half shut or glassy, like she's somewhere else. She won't go to the waterer. She won't move to the feed. She's pulled herself away from the flock. Before we go any further, I need to draw a hard line. If your hen has any of the following: blood in her droppings, neurological signs, head shaking, loss of balance, walking in circles, trouble breathing, open mouth breathing, gurgling, any sound when she breathes that wasn't there before, swelling around her head or throat, discharge from her eyes or nostrils, or more than one bird going down at the same time, that is not a nutritional crash. That is disease. Put this video down and call your vet. Do not try to fix that with scrambled eggs. I don't diagnose sick birds. That's the vet's job. What we're talking about today is a single bird. Gradual onset. Nothing wrong with her breathing. No discharge, no balance problems. She was fine last week. The flock is in or just coming out of molt. Or it's been a hard August and the heat hasn't let up. That's the bird we can talk about. So what actually crashes a healthy hen without disease? 3 things, mostly. The first is molt. A feather is roughly 85% protein by weight. When a hen goes into hard molt, bare patches on the neck and back, looking rough, she is building an entire new coat while still trying to hold her body together. Sometimes, while still laying, her feed has to keep pace with that demand. If it doesn't, she starts pulling from herself, her own muscle, her own reserves. She does it quietly, over weeks. By the time she goes down, you think it happened overnight. It didn't. Every fall for 32 years, my counter got busy. People coming in for something to fix a hen that was going downhill. Vitamin packs, recovery tonics, I rang them up. Some helped a little, but the protein problem behind what they were seeing, most of what I sold them wasn't going to touch that. I knew it. That's not something a working feed man says out loud. I'm not behind the counter anymore. The second thing is heat stress. A panting hen in August is burning through electrolytes fast. That's the sodium, potassium, and chloride her muscles and nerves run on. When that balance tips, she can go down quicker than most people expect. It doesn't always look like heat stress by the time she's struggling. It just looks like a hen who's not right. But if you've had 2 weeks of 95-degree days and nothing extra in the water, that's where to look. The third thing is chronic low protein. This one builds slow. Laying hens need around 16 to 18% protein across their whole diet to hold their condition. Run below that long enough. Too much scratch, too many table scraps, not enough real forage in winter, And they don't fail all at once. They just fade. And one day you walk out and she's down. Here's what most people do when they see this. They drive to the farm store. They come home with a vitamin electrolyte powder, a probiotic paste, maybe an herbal tonic. I'm not going to tell you those are worthless. Some of them do something. But they work over time, and a hen who's already down may not have that runway. I'll also say this plainly. Antibiotics do not fix a protein crash. They do not fix electrolyte depletion. If the problem isn't bacterial, you are adding stress to a bird who is already in trouble. Here's the thing nobody's going to sell you, because you can't sell it, because you already have it. Scrambled eggs, fed back to your hens, cooked plain, no seasoning. That's the whole thing. The reason the internet calls this forbidden is mostly fear. The real concern is egg-eating behavior. If a hen finds an intact egg, pecks it open, and makes that connection, you've got a problem. But a scrambled egg cooked and crumbled does not look like an egg to a hen. The connection that drives egg-eating behavior doesn't form. My granddad cooked eggs for a hen going down the same way I did at Carol's place. He never called it forbidden. He called it feeding your animals what they need. The other fear, some people mix this up with the mad cow regulations. Those applied to cattle feed. Not a backyard hen in a sick pen. Here's what that egg actually gives her. Roughly 6 to 7 grams of complete protein with the full amino acid profile, including methionine, which is specifically used up during heavy feather production. You cannot buy a recovery supplement with a better profile than what's already sitting in your own nest box. And you already paid for those eggs. Here's the method in the order you do it. Act fast. A hen going down from a nutritional crash gets worse without help. If you see it in the morning, act that morning. Pull her from the flock first. A dog crate in the garage, a quiet corner with a divider, anything calm and dry with no competition for food or water. 1 to 2 eggs per bird, scrambled or hard-boiled and crumbled. Either works. No salt. No butter. No seasoning of any kind. That means no onion, no garlic, nothing you'd normally reach for in the kitchen. Offer it warm, not cold from the fridge. Bring it to her. A hen who's shutting down won't cross the pen for something new. At the same time, mix up an electrolyte drench. 1 quart of warm water, not hot. 1 tablespoon of plain sugar. 1 teaspoon of plain salt. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Offer it in a shallow dish or an eyedropper. Don't force it down. That's roughly what a vet drip gives her, for a lot more money. 2 minutes in your kitchen costs you almost nothing. Check her every 2 to 3 hours. If it's a nutritional crash, you'll see something within 4 to 8 hours. Her head coming up, some interest in food or water, posture less hunched. By 12 to 24 hours, she should be on her feet. Now I need you to hear this clearly. If she is not improving at 12 hours, if she's getting worse, or holding flat, or new symptoms appear, stop. This is not a nutritional crash. Call your vet. This method treats a nutritional problem. It does not treat Murex disease. It does not treat respiratory illness. It does not treat anything bacterial or viral. A scrambled egg cannot cure disease. That's the line. Don't cross it by waiting another day. When a hen's protein reserves crash, her muscles weaken, her gut slows, her whole system starts conserving. Egg protein is among the highest quality she can take in, and it doesn't take much effort to digest. The electrolytes restore the balance her muscles and nerves need to work. That's why a hen who wouldn't lift her head at noon can be standing at the waterer by evening. The full recovery protocol, sick pen setup, the electrolyte formula written out so you can print it, and the feeding schedule through Molt, it's all in the playbook in one place. Links below if you want it. And if an old feed man telling you the plain truth is worth something to you, subscribe. I put one of these out most days. Now let's talk about keeping this from happening, because the setup almost always starts weeks before a hen goes down. Most backyard flock keepers run the same feed year-round. 16% layer pellets, every month, every season. That's fine, until molt. A hen in hard molt needs closer to 18 to 20% protein to rebuild feathers and hold her body condition at the same time. Layer feed isn't wrong. It just isn't enough when the feathers are coming out. That gap is where the trouble builds.
You can close it by mixing a chick grower or game bird feed into your layer ration during molt, something in the 18 to 20% range. If you do that, the calcium in the diet drops, because grower feed doesn't carry the calcium that layer feed does. So free choice oyster shell in its own dish becomes non-negotiable. Keep it out always, but especially then. A hen in molt who's also short on calcium is pulling from her own bones to make shells, and you won't see that damage until it's already done. You can also just run preventive eggs, a couple scrambled, mixed into the regular feed a few times a week through heavy molt. No changes to the ration, just a protein boost when they need it most. I watched this pattern every fall for 32 years. People coming in October with a hen going downhill looking for something in a bottle. Sometimes what they needed was a bag of grower feed and a dish of oyster shell. I should have said that more often than I did. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Not a product, not a bottle, not something you have to drive to town for. Just the ability to look at a hen going down and know what question to ask first. Is this a nutritional problem, or is this disease? That one question, answered right, saves birds. Here's what to do this week, in order. 1. Mix up that electrolyte formula and write it on an index card right now, before you need it. 1 quart of warm water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of plain salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Tape that card inside the coop door. You want it in your hand in 30 seconds, not on a phone screen you're trying to scroll while you're holding a sick bird. 2. Check the protein percentage on your current feed bag. It'll say crude protein on the tag. If you're heading into fall and that number is 16, you need to know it now, before molt starts, not after a hen goes down. 3. Decide today where your sick pen is. A dog crate in the garage, a partitioned corner of the run, a spare hutch, anything quiet and dry. The time to think about the sick pen is not when you're already holding a hen who's in trouble. 4. Keep oyster shell out free choice, in its own dish, always. Not mixed into the feed, its own dish. Let her take what she needs. Most of your hens will never need any of this. If you keep the protein right through molt and keep the calcium in front of them, they'll move through the hard stretch of the year without drama. This is for the one that doesn't, and now you're ready for her. Cut that feed bill as hard as you like. I am the last person to tell you not to. But don't cut protein during molt, and don't ever let the calcium run out. A hen laying soft-shelled eggs is a hen whose bones are paying the price. You cheap out on the wrong thing, she stops laying, and then you've saved nothing at all. Protein and calcium are the line. Everything else has room to work with. I sold a lot of recovery tonics over 32 years. The knowledge that would have fixed most of those birds, fast, for almost nothing, that was free. It just wasn't for sale. Nobody builds a business selling you what you already have sitting in the nest box. Your great-grandparents knew how to bring a hen back without a product and without a phone call to a clinic. Most of us just never got the chance to learn it. That's what I'm here for. 3 weeks after I drove over to Carol's place, she texted me again. That hen was laying. Carol said she felt a little silly for having spent all that money first. I told her not to. I'd been taking that money across a counter for 32 years. We were even. I'm Earl. Keep the protein up through molt, keep the calcium out free choice, and know where your sick pen is before you need it. That's the job. I'll see you in the next one.
Next time, the one treat most backyard keepers give their hens every single day that's quietly pulling their diet apart, and why the bag on your shelf isn't going to tell you that.